All right, today we've got a story for you that is something else. This is a true story sent in by a subscriber named Sahil about a trip with his friends that took a seriously terrifying turn. Let's just get right into it. So that's how Sahil starts his story. Just think about that for a second. A lullaby, something that's supposed to be the most comforting sound in the world, becomes the source of his deepest fear. So the question is, how on earth did that happen? Well, it all begins, as many great stories do, with a road trip. But this wasn't just four friends going on a vacation. No, this journey had a very specific and very heartfelt mission. So let's meet the crew. You've got Sahil, who's telling us this whole story, and his buddies Chirag and Arun. They put this entire trip together for their fourth friend, Samai. See, just a few months before, Samai's younger brother had died tragically in an accident. Samai, who was always the life of the party, had just shut down. So his friends figured, hey, let's take him to the mountains, to Manali. Maybe that fresh air and beautiful scenery could help him start to heal. And for a while, everything was going great. It was working. But then came the third day. The plan was to drive up to the famous, beautiful Rotang Pass. And as they were heading out, they got a piece of advice, a warning really, that they just casually laughed off, a mistake they would come to regret big time. The hotel receptionist, he wasn't joking around. He told them, dead serious, that all the locals are locked up in their homes by 6 p.m. Why? Because they believe this ancient, deceptive spirit haunts the pass after dark. And the friends? They just thought it was a fun, spooky local folktale, nothing more. Now here's something they probably should have paid a little more attention to. The name of the place itself. The word Rotang, it literally translates to pile of corpses. So this isn't just some scenic spot. Its very name is a warning, a monument to death. Kind of gives those local legends a little more weight, doesn't it? So of course, they stay out too late, night falls, and this incredibly thick fog just rolls in and swallows the entire pass. On their drive back, they're completely lost, disoriented, and they find themselves trapped in what Sahil now calls the 28-kilometer illusion. Imagine this. You're just creeping through this pea soup fog, and your headlights finally catch something on the side of the road. It's a milestone, Manali 28 km. But that's not the weird part. The weird part is the figure sitting on top of it. A man, wearing only a thin, traditional dhoti, just sitting there, perfectly still in the freezing cold. They drive on, deeper into the fog, for a solid 20 minutes. And then, they see it again. The exact same milestone, with the exact same strange man sitting on it. That's the moment the nervous laughter stops, and real, genuine panic starts to set in. They're driving in circles, stuck in some kind of impossible loop. And this is where things go from just plain scary to completely surreal. Because when they start freaking out and comparing what they saw, they realize something terrifying. Sahil saw the man in the dhoti, but Chirag swears he saw a little girl holding a toy. And Arun, who's driving, is adamant he saw a huge black horse just standing there, watching them. The point is, the illusion was different for each of them. And all this time, what's Samai doing? The very friend they're all there to help? He's getting more and more agitated, but not out of fear. He just keeps insisting, someone out there needs our help. We have to stop. It wasn't natural. It was like he was being compelled to say it, and it was really starting to freak his friends out. The terror was about to escalate. It was going to shift from this confusing psychological game to a direct physical threat. A figure emerged from the fog, and it was right next to their car. What they saw was a boy, maybe 15 years old. His clothes were covered in mud, his face was all messed up with injuries. But here's the detail that just breaks your brain. Their car was moving at 40 kilometers an hour, and this boy was keeping pace with them by walking. Not running, just walking calmly right outside their window. While everyone else is, understandably, losing their minds, screaming, Samai becomes eerily calm. He completely ignores them, rolls down his window, and just stares at the boy, almost like he's in a trance. He's literally letting the danger get closer. They finally floor it and speed away, leaving the boy behind. But when Sahil dares to look in the rearview mirror, he sees the boy, standing completely still in the middle of the road, waving. And then he sees his friend Samai,
looking back through the rear windshield, smiling and waving back. A silent, terrifying conversation had just taken place.
Shaken beyond belief, they somehow make it back to the hotel just before 2 a.m. The plan is to lock the door and just deal with all this in the morning. They thought they were safe. They were wrong. The horror had followed them inside.
At 3:30 in the morning, in the dead of night, Sahil is woken up by a faint sound, a singing sound coming from inside their hotel room.
The song was an innocent, very well-known Hindi lullaby. You are my moon, you are my sun. It's a song a mother would sing to her child. But the person singing this gentle tune, well, that was anything but comforting. Sahil looks over and sees Samai standing in front of the mirror singing to his own reflection. His eyes were bloodshot red. There were these dark, hand-shaped marks on his neck, as if someone was choking him. And on his face was this small, tight, completely unnatural smile. The entity from the road had found a host. What happened next was just a desperate scramble for answers, a fight to get their friend back from whatever had taken hold of him. It led to a resolution that, well, it left a permanent scar. The very next morning, they finally took the hotel receptionist's advice seriously. They found a local priest, a pundit, and took Samai to him. The pundit apparently knew immediately what was wrong. He said a malevolent spirit had preyed on Samai's grief, taking the form of his deceased brother to gain his trust and get in. After a cleansing ritual, Samai violently vomited this thick, black substance. And then, the presence was gone. And this brings us right back to where we started. Sahil says that today, Samai is perfectly fine, and he has zero memory of anything that happened that night. But for Sahil, the terror never left. The sound of that innocent lullaby, sung by the thing that was wearing his friend's face, he says it haunts his dreams every single night. We'll leave you with the last thing that entity said through Samai, right before he collapsed. It turned to his terrified friends, smiled that small, awful smile, and asked in the voice of a child, "If I knock on your window at night, you will open it, won't you?" A final, chilling question that reminds us that sometimes evil doesn't have to break down the door. It just politely asks to be let inside.